Hello, everybody, and welcome into our second birthday episode of Talking Wrestling with Palm Water Dave. You know who I am. You know who she is. We're your intergender tag team champions of podcasting. Amy Vaughn, how are you? Glad you
I'm
could make it.
wonderful. Sorry about that.
Apologize to our listeners.
Yes, I'm very, very sorry. I've tried to be efficient and update my computer, and it took way too long. Sorry.
Well, that's all right. I mean, it's only our
But I'm
most
here. I'm here
requested
now.
guest
So
in podcast history.
I
He's
know.
one of my
I know.
he's one of
I
my
know.
fellow sad news bears. He's the stir that stirs the drink of everything Conrad Thomas podcast, Thomas Thompson podcast related stuff. God Almighty. He's a producer extraordinaire and a hell of a great guy. He's one of my favorite people in the world. My friend, Dave Silva. Dave, thank you so much for coming on.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. I'm so proud of you guys and what you're doing. 2 years, in the podcast world, as you know, 2 years is a big number because a lot of people tap out after a while.
I mean, I don't know if Corey's got one that's gone. He's got several. He's been in the space.
He's been in the space.
He's been rebranded, but I think Corey and Shuley may be the only other two, other than Conrad, that's gone 2 years on one of them.
I think so. I think you're right. It's a tough job. Podcasting isn't easy.
No.
And it's a dedication, and you guys are killing it. Congratulations on 2 years.
Well,
and that open.
How you like it?
I love the open, the music right down my alley. I just love it. I'm a little sad that Amy was late because I know maybe if I was Arn Anderson level, she would have been here.
No.
She would have been here an hour early before, but hey, I'll take it. I'm happy she made it.
I'd say she's got heat with you because she thinks that you're the reason Arn is on that free.
No, that is not true. Don't you start rumors.
That's the clickbait right there.
Yeah.
Amy motherfucker Silva right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. And it hurts. It hurts. Brain buster. Immediate brain buster.
Oh.
Well, we want to thank everybody that's joining in with us too. I see that you got questions. I'm gonna star them as we go. And before we get Dave out of here, I will ask your questions as well. Dave, I want to ask you. I mean, what was you used to have a job as a legitimate newscaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
broadcast journalist. What got you into the wrestling space?
Pretty much being a wrestling fan since I was a kid, and growing up hardcore WCW. Loved everything that WCW did growing up, and just always loving wrestling, and always pretty much when you're in television news, you kind of get desensitized to everything because it's a constant flow of just trash all the time.
Sure.
You hear the worst and you see the worst of humanity every day. And really wrestling has always been an escape for me. And has always been kind of like I can decompress and enjoy a story and the action. And that's how when wrestling podcasts started to show up or come up on my suggested podcasts to listen to, growing up with WCW, and then of course the WWF, WWE, and then ECW, Taz had a podcast, and I'm like, oh my god, like Taz was my guy in ECW. I was always a Taz guy from day one, so I started listening to his podcast, and that's what really kind of opened up the world of wrestling podcasts for me. And then it was just like Pandora's box, and now it's my world.
When you were a newscaster, did you get to do any sports wrestling related stories at all? Did you pitch things like that?
Well, here's the deal. Like, I wasn't an actual news reporter. I managed the newsroom, so I made the yays and the nays. So whenever WWE was in town, I was like, look at how much revenue they're bringing into the area. yeah, I would all line it up, and then I would call WWE media, and they'd be like, "We come on over to the live show, or come on over to Raw or whatever," and like I would be backstage. That's where I met John Cena for the first time, and that was when John Cena was just like Word Life, and he was doing all that gimmick. That's where I met Dean Malenko for the first time. That's where I met Chris Benoit. I met Kurt Angle, all from the television news, just because I used that avenue to go in. We do a sports piece on them, and we'd always get tickets to the show and get to hang out with the guys and stuff. So in television news, of course, I bent every rule and twisted every turn to try to get into a wrestling show for free. I'm a long time cheapskate. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that at all. I think any one of us here, if we had that ability, we would be doing the same thing.
I have that ability, and I use it as often as I can.
I haven't had to use that in a very long time, but yeah, I would. On those shoots, I would be like, I'll produce it. I'll go and I'll produce it, because either the reporter didn't really know who's who and all this stuff. So I was like, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. I'll do all the heavy lifting. I'll write the script. You'll be fine.
Dave's like, you're going to screw it up. I will take care of this. So you're gonna ask something stupid and embarrass me.
Don't embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass us.
Yeah, really.
So you mentioned Taz's show.
Yeah.
Taz was on CBS Radio?
Yes. Yeah. New York City to CBS Radio.
So were you calling into it, or?
Okay. So I started out as a listener, and then Taz opened it up. He wanted to start doing these hump day promos. Every Wednesday, he'd open it up to listeners to cut a promo. And then he would listen, like him and his staff would pick like the top 5, top 10 promos. And then if you were the best of the week, you'd get an orange 13, and then they would send you a t-shirt. So I was like, well, heck yeah, I'll try that. So I started creating these random characters for these promos, because he would say, okay, next week we're going to do a promo about your mother-in-law. Cut a promo about your mother-in-law, send it in, da-da-da-da-da. So every week was a different subject. So I would create these characters that would like have a beef with whoever the topic was that week. and it became like the first time he did it, I got the orange 13, I got the t-shirt. The second week he did it, I created somebody else, and on and on and on. To where he just like, he reached out on Twitter and said, hey, dude, you're killing it on the show. Why don't you call in and we can work around whatever we're talking about, and you just come in as this character or as this character. So that's what I would do. I would call in as a character, just like the Morning Zoo kind of radio show, and we would just riff off each other, and it just started to kind of snowball into becoming not an official member of the team, but I knew all the producers, and Taz and I were back and forth on the phone or either via Twitter, and I would send in videos, and they would play the videos when they went into the video space of their shows, and it just became a thing. And then from there, The Rock had Taz says he stole his idea, but I don't know if that's actually the case. But The Rock did a thing called Rock the Promo. And it was a promo contest that he was going to do. Champion, the finalists would get sent to New York and would battle for this Rock the Promo belt. And you get to meet The Rock, and you get to do all this stuff. And it was all on his YouTube channel that he had just launched. And I made it to that contest as one of the characters that I started out with Taz. And I competed, and that week, every week, Rock would have a special guest wrestler come and judge him. And that stinking Sugar Shane Hurricane Helms.
Oh no, not Shane.
Yeah. He was like, oh no, he's too much of a gimmick. He's not real enough and all that stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I got booted.
Sugar Shane called you a gimmick.
I got pegged as the gimmick, the guy in the hurricane mask. But
so we don't like him anymore. Enough said. Enough said.
Long time beef with her.
No, enough said.
No, but it kind of, from that kind of, the whole Taz experience kind of opened up my eyes to a whole bunch of different podcasts, and that's when I started listening to Bruce and Conrad. And Bruce and Conrad had barely started, and of course, just everything. Allison, I love you. But I like everything.
So Bruce she's saying that I'm her favorite, Dave.
Wait.
And you're Super Dave.
No. I think it's the other way around.
No. I've heard Eric Bischoff say in a loud and clear voice.
I just want to say that your handle says Pond Water, Dave. So I think.
Oh, I know. I'm like the only one not mad about it.
I didn't even get mentioned, so I just want that to be said. I mean,
dude, I jumped into the chat. I was watching live, and Eric said Super Dave, and I'm like, oh shit, am I supposed to be helping?
What's happening here? What's going on?
It took me a minute.
So
but I've had several messages about it, and I'm like, no, it's cool. I'm Palm Water.
I'm Palm Water and Super Dave. I have you on my phone as Super Dave. So.
I had to lean back in when Tony used it at Ric Flair's last match.
Oh yeah, you had to.
Like, back in.
Bring out the jars, Tippy. Here we go. We're gonna sell these jars again.
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go.
That's funny. It depends on how you know. I forgot. I'm sorry. My husband. I forgot to put chili on. Sorry.
Oh Lord.
My husband mentioned. He's like, you forgot to put the chili on for me. I completely.
Amy's got heat with every man in the world tonight.
I mean, I do. Goodness gracious, I'm really struggling. Oh, I was going to say, you could tell how people know you, like what era, because I have you in my phone as Pond Water. So you have Super Dave and I have Pond Water. I came a little bit later. Sorry.
So the eras.
Yes, the era of Dave.
So
did Taz get mad at you for
Taz?
For doing the rock contest?
I got a little heat with Taz on the rock contest because he felt like I was property of the Taz show. Wow. Yet I had never received any kind of dime or dollar from the Taz show. I was just the listener being blessed enough to contribute. So yeah, we had heat for a while. And it took the magic of Conrad Thompson to bring us back together into mend fences, and now we're pals. Now we're good. But
does it ever amaze you when you look at your call? I mean, your Rolodex, your phone book, and your phone of the names and the numbers of the people that you get to talk to on a regular basis and actually call friend now.
Yeah, it's crazy when Jim Ross randomly calls to talk about nothing really in particular, and then he ends it with "I love you, Dave," and I'm like, "Love you, Jim," and it still blows my mind. It's incredible. It's incredible the people that I've been able to meet and befriend and have relationships with and do business with, and it's just incredible. I'm extremely blessed.
Well, so from the Taz show, now you're moving into Conrad Thompson territory.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you were listening to Cornette, and I mean, there was and maybe Colt Cabana.
Definitely Colt. Sometimes Jim. But like when I heard Bruce and with the voices and the stories and like I was hooked. I was in love with Bruce. So just because I've always been I went to college for graphic design, ended up in television news, but that's a wild story. But I started just doing fun graphics and posting them, promoting something to wrestle, just throwing it out there as a fan. And Conrad DM'd me one day and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing like back in the day, our Twitter header for the show?" I'll be like, oh yeah, heck yeah, I would love to. So I did that. And then, oh, would you ever be interested in doing the cover art for each episode? Because your artwork's so funny and nobody's really doing it right now like that. Would you be willing? And I'll be, oh yeah, I would love to. So then the first Something to Wrestle live show was about to happen or was discussed. And Conrad was like, hey, if there's any chance that you can make it to Orlando, Bruce and I would love for you to be there for our first live show. And would you help us make VIP passes and do all this other stuff? So I was like, no problem, of course. So I talked to Heather, my wife, and I told Heather, I said, sweetheart, I don't know if this is going to turn into anything. This is me still doing television news 7 days a week because I was always on call. And I said, I don't know if this is going to turn into anything, but I really feel like I should go to Orlando and meet these guys in person. So I bought my ticket. I went out there. Bruce's wife, Stephanie, picked me up from the airport. Bruce was doing WrestleCon. So I worked with Bruce all that day at his table, and we just immediately clicked. And it was just like we knew each other forever. And then Conrad showed up, and I met Conrad for the first time at WrestleCon, and we all just gelled, and we did the first live show. It went amazing, and everything worked out, and all the little gimmicks and everything that I used to make for Brucey for the live shows worked and got pops, and everybody enjoyed them. And at the end of the show, Bruce is like, hey, we're going to St. Louis next month. Can you make it? I was like, what day? And so he tells me the date, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. And he goes, and we got your tickets. We'll fly you, and we got your hotel. And that's how it started.
That's where I met you.
Yeah,
in person. We picked you up. We picked you up from the airport, and never met him in person before, but it felt like I'd known him 100 years.
Yeah, it was and like immediate.
And then we went and met Bruce for pizza. Which I think Cornette ribbed him on that pizza.
Yeah.
So we go eat pizza, and we get through with the pizza, and Conrad had tire trouble on he was driving in, and he messed up his tires, and he was taking a long time. It was going to be a while before he could get there.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruce said, who wants to go see King Tut? So we all loaded up, and we went to the King Tut exhibit and toured King Tut. And there's a picture on my wall of us all taking that gimmick picture where they put you on a green screen and everybody's got they put the King Tut gimmicks on us.
What year was this?
2017?
Yeah, 17. Yeah.
17 was because WWE was in town.
Mm-hmm.
WWE was in town for Money in the Bank.
Okay.
And
my God, I had, until you mentioned everything that happened around that trip, I had forgot that was the trip we did King Tut, which was wild. That was a fun trip.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, before you know it, I was a part of the show and everything that they did in the live shows and the weekly shows. And that kind of just turned into Conrad saying, hey, I'm starting a podcast with Tony Schiavone. You ready to go? I was like, let's do it. And then, hey, I'm starting Eric Bischoff. You ready to go? Yeah, let's do it. Hey, I'm doing Jim. You ready to go? And it just started. And it's crazy because when we were doing the live shows, we would do maybe 2 a month or sometimes just once a month. But it would be me working a full week, and I would leave the newsroom on Friday afternoon and book it to the airport, take the flight, get into town. I would leave early Saturday morning, or I would leave late Friday night, do the show, jump back on the plane immediately once the show was over, and we wrapped everything up. I was off to the airport to make it back to work on Monday. Wow. So it was a wild time.
Did you ever have a time where some big newsworthy thing happened and you had to stay or had to cancel? Or did you ever worry about that?
Oh, I worried about that all the time because during the weekends, the weekend reporters would have to call me for script approval, for story approval, for any kind of breaking news. Can they take out the satellite truck? Can they do A, B, and C, and D? So yeah, there were several times where we are in the middle of a live show and I'm back in the sound booth running the cues and everything. And I'm talking to a reporter saying, hey, I need you to go ahead and take that satellite truck, go here, go there. Big apartment fire happened when we were at a live show. A small plane crash happened while we were at a live show. Yeah. So it was the constant fear of, oh, Dave, we need you in the newsroom right now. Can you start to the newsroom because we have breaking news? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in Baltimore, or I'm in Detroit, or whatever.
Right.
Most of the staff. Oh gosh, when I was in Michigan, I ended up on the news a couple of times for we used to do this thing called "Try Before You Buy," and the anchor would get all the latest gimmicks and all that kind of stuff. And I was always the guinea pig that would come in and try it out and then give my yay or nay. But yeah, so like I was saying, that was always a fear that something crazy was going to happen and I was going to be out in the middle of nowhere. And a lot of the people that I worked with in television news didn't know I was doing this side hustle and this double life until I told them, hey, I'm leaving because I'm going to do this for occupation now. And they're like, what? What's going on? We didn't even know you like this.
When was that?
It was, what year was StarCast 3? No. What was it, 3 or 2? One of the StarCasts, what really pushed it over the edge was one of the StarCasts came up and the news director, because I was an assistant news director, so I ran the newsroom, and then the news director was a signature on stuff, and she was going to be on vacation the weekend of StarCast, and I told Conrad, I said, dude, I'm sorry, but I can't get away. I can't, because StarCast usually when we would do the StarCast, I would usually leave maybe 2 or 3 days before the actual convention started, so I could be on the ground and we could help with all the logistics and all that kind of stuff, setting up. So when I told him, I said, I can't. She already has all that time off, and I'm running everything while she's away. I just can't do it. And in typical Conrad, without skipping a beat, how much you need to make? And I was like, what? How much you need to make to keep your quality of life? So I told him, and he's like, okay. And I said, my son has a heart condition, so I have to have full insurance. And he's like, no problem. He's like, okay, give your 2 weeks. I was like, what? And he goes, give your 2 weeks. This will be I'll find. Obviously, you're busy enough with all the pods, but then when I need you for mortgage stuff, you'll do mortgage graphics or whatever, but you're taken care of. So I went to Heather and I said, sweetheart, Conrad said, give my 2 weeks. He's ready to hire me full time. And of course, in typical Heather, go for it. Let's do it. And there you go. I gave my 2 weeks, and everybody was flabbergasted and upset. Because nobody knew it was coming, but it just happened, and then
you didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
Well, you got to imagine he's like the one guy you work with that he makes your day to see him every day. I've never seen Silva when I didn't want to hug him.
I'm a hugger.
So you got to think that's a dark day. I think they shut down City of Huntsville when he left and moved to San Antonio.
Literally, they just shut it. They pushed everybody out. Conrad even got pushed out. They said, "Don't come back."
Yeah, they were just they moved him to Gunnersville. They're so hot about
it. So that's how I ended up full time working in the world of Conrad Thompson and loving every minute of it.
Yeah, and that, and to this day, if Conrad's doing the podcast, you're the producer, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you doing I know that you don't work for ad-free shows. Are you doing the book? But are you doing the book and
No.
Amadonis and?
I would love to do the book and to do Sam's show, but the process of working on the podcast is there's so many different things that I'm in charge of that I do on a weekly basis for all of our shows. Plus like the side projects, like I also produce JBL and Joe Briscoe's show, Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw. So I also do that show on the side, and then some other projects that we have coming up. There's just no time in the day. Like I would love to do. I love David Crockett so much, and I would love to do the book with him, but I just I have to carve out time to at least see my kids a little bit,
right?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, because they're getting to be that age where they're just fine not seeing you.
They're my 15-year-old twins, and it seems like they're growing 5 years every day, and yeah, I can't miss any seconds of everything they're involved in.
My granddaughter's 14 and my grandson's 11, and they used to. I mean, they were right underneath us the whole time when they come visit spend the weekend. I mean, now they've discovered the greatness of one of them goes to one bedroom and plays Xbox, and the other one's on there with their friends talking to her friends. And
tell me about it. Right before the show, my son was on the PS5 playing his game, and I was like, Papa, I gotta do a show. Yeah, I'm sorry, you gotta go. He's like, okay, Dad. Okay. And he wraps it up while my daughter's over there listening to music, reading a book, or doing whatever. So yeah, they're growing up way too fast.
They do. I can't believe they're already 15.
Isn't that crazy?
Now, yeah, I mean, with that mustache, he looks like he's about 27.
I love giving him a hard time. I'm like, dude, the kids are gonna think you're a narc. Like, you need to thin that thing out. No, Daddy, it's good. I love it.
Yeah, they always seem so happy.
Oh,
like the Silva family. I don't think I've ever been around y'all when the whole bunch wasn't happy about something.
We're just happy to be here.
Yeah. I mean, the absolute best people in the world. I've noticed that the move here lately has been to do live recordings.
Yes.
Do you find as a producer that the live recordings are much easier?
I do. Starting out, I was very fearful of it because there's no net. And as a producer, and with the shows that we do, there's a lot of moving parts. And Conrad is really like, of course, we have tons of research, and we have our research, and we're looking at it, and I'm looking at it, and we're all involved. But Conrad, a topic will turn into something else, and will veer off at any moment. And for me, since I've been programmed in television news and in TV, I'm always like, it has to be visual, it has to be live, it has to be go, have that feeling to it and that energy to keep the viewer the whole time and the listener the whole time. So when it was like, hey, I want to start doing this live for the YouTube channels and for ad free, of course I was real fearful, because if he veers off to the right, and I'm over here because I have two screens, and I'm over here looking for images, and I'm photoshopping them and making them work and shaping them and then getting them on there. Am I going to make it in time before that subject is over? And it's always a juggling act whenever we do a live show. So the plus of it, though, is that once it's done, it's done. Like it saves me a whole part of my process, because now it's on the YouTube channel. It was a live event. What happened, and there it is. I don't have to post it. I don't have to do anything of it. All I have to do is write the synopsis, put in our ads and our sponsor information, all that stuff, and then it's out there. Like that's like tonight. We're going when we're recording this and when we're live right now. Tonight we're going live with Jim right after Dynamite, and that show, which technically drops on the RSS feed on the podcast feed tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. will already be out on YouTube once we're done tonight. So that's huge. That's a huge time saver for me. So I've learned to love it. I've learned to roll with the punches. Live's live. What happens happens, and it's been a lot easier in my process if we just do it live. Let's just go live and let's go for it. And I think it's great for our viewers and our listeners because they're live reacting to everything the guys are saying, and they're able to ask their questions and to share their views and build a community inside the chat. It's been great for our shows to just do it live.
Yeah, and well, that's what we started doing it live. Is I just told them, I said, we record these episodes and then I go back through and I insert pictures and for the video, and if we talked about something, I'll throw something in. And I was doing all this editing, and I'm working like 4 hours an episode.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, if we had 10 people look at it, and I was like, this isn't fun anymore. We're going to go live. We just gonna have to. I just gotta kind of watch it because there is no net. You don't want to go too far.
Yeah,
because you're right. Things do veer. Me and Amy have been on a quest to try to do a 2-hour podcast, and it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
especially if we get somebody on here that we know. I mean, because the conversations can take the left turns.
Yeah.
It just. I mean, we had Dawkins on here, and we probably only talked about 2 things that we had listed that we wanted to talk about. It just became a whole conversation.
Yeah.
Whole subject. Yeah.
My promoter friend Josh Newell that promotes BIW that I'm going to be working for this Saturday, by the way, in Spring Hill, Louisiana, my
Awesome.
last show of the year. He came on. We did 2.5 hours, but it was just it just happens. Do y'all have a hard? I mean, like I kind of get the feeling that Jeff's a couple hours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I always felt like Arn was an hour.
Yeah.
But Bruce could be 4 hours. I don't know if y'all have any of that? Is there any way that could ever happen that JR goes for 3 hours or Jeff goes for 3, or I mean, having those marathon podcasts like we used to get out of Bruce?
Yeah. We've done a couple, like we've teetered close to 3 hours with Jim, depending on the topic. But as for the most part, like Jeff, 2 hours. He likes to stick it around 2 hours, 2.5 maybe, depending on the topic and depending on his stories, and of course we bust balls and we talk about football and we talk about everything else. But and Tony's always about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So I think depending on the subject, we could get the marathon podcast out of the guys. Definitely Eric.
Yeah. So if it's organic, it can happen.
Yes. Pretty much our goal into the show is to get the best and squeeze the most juice out of this subject and get the stories that really nobody's heard of, or get the perspective of the guys that actually were in it, and really squeeze it and milk it. And if that takes an hour and a half, or if that takes 3 hours, we're here for it. It's like, I really can't complain. I work from home, and this is like, I'm not digging ditches. So if you need me here for 4 hours, I'm here for 4 hours, or whatever the case might be. And same with Conrad. Conrad's really flexible in the, hey, if this is going good and we're flowing and our host has more to say, let's just sit back and enjoy the ride. Mm-hmm. And so there's never really been a hard out, or I take that back. There has been a couple of hard outs when the guys have to make flights or do whatever, or have family events. But for the most part, we go into every show just ready to go as long as we need to.
Mm-hmm. Has that helped having the live audience? They're the ones who come up with questions. Like, does that help? Like you said, an angle, a thought that maybe you all haven't really thought about, or, a fan asks what was going on during this, and that kind of sends them off in a trajectory. Is that where you see a lot of those things kind of happening?
I see a lot more of that happening, which is
Mhm.
fantastic because on Jeff's show just this week, we were talking about the backstage skirmish between Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. When Hogan showed up unannounced, Jerry Jarrett had invited Hogan over because they were trying to work the contract out to bring Hogan to TNA. And Hogan was just down the street. So he just shows up. And Jeff didn't know Hulk was showing up. So Hulk's just chilling. And of course, that's the night Randy's going to show up.
Mhm.
And this was after, if you listen to the show, this was after Randy's big rap album and the beef with Hogan. He had the beef with Hogan forever. So it caused a huge skirmish. And in the reports that we were reading to Jeff, it said that Hogan said, well, let's go outside and let's deal with this. And Randy backed off.
Mhm.
And Connor was like, no way, that doesn't sound like Randy Savage. This is a guy that fought dogs and got pepper sprayed and kept fighting dogs and stuff back in the day in the 70s. Like he would back down to Hogan. And sure enough, our live chat just started popping up with different reports and different accounts of the situation. And so Conrad, like, we started taking him live, and that really expanded the conversation and really helped out just that whole story. To at the end of it, the show was Victory Road 2004.
Mhm.
But we talked so much about the Hogan Savage backstage argument and all that stuff. Connor was like, we got to call this the Hogan Savage Showdown. And
Yeah.
I was like, you got it. So here I am making the art during the show and while I'm producing the show.
Are you having to kind of fact check some? I mean, because I do know everything on the internet is true, right?
Yes, of course.
Of course. But like, do you ever have to be like, I've never heard of that article? Like, or do you have to kind of try to make sure that someone is not just throwing up some, dirt sheet wannabe, oh, that they're saying, and then you all are off on a tangent? Do you have to try to do that too?
Well,
the guys that were commenting the other night, A Wrestling Historian and Ian Dice Clay, are normally those guys are pretty spot on.
Yeah.
They don't.
Is
they
that
don't
kind
normally,
of what you're looking at? Like,
yeah,
the
they're not.
person you
Those
also
two.
are
Those
kinda
two were
like,
the main
okay.
ones that were chiming in. So
I gotcha.
Yeah, I think that if it was a first timer, because we were on Jeff's YouTube channel live and it was names that Conrad didn't know and trust or whatever, we probably wouldn't have leaned that much into what they were saying.
Gotcha.
But these guys follow and know their facts enough to chime in, so we were kind of like, yeah, we'll keep it going.
Gotcha.
I noticed in the chat somebody did a super chat.
Yeah.
And then somebody commented twice on the super chat. Some X-rated stuff.
Yeah.
Coach was like, you're in the wrong chat, pal. I said, Pixar, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, do y'all get that a lot?
The super chats?
No, the trolling.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
I know you get some trolls, but
oh yeah, especially Eric gets a lot of trolls just because of his comments and his viewpoints about AEW. Boy, oh boy, they come in in droves, and it's just like their duty to just flood the chat full of stuff.
We had that happen here one night. I had a promoter on that had heat with the boys, and we didn't know it.
Oh no!
And they were ruthless. And I thought they were just screwing with him. So I kept going to the chat and putting them and putting the comments on the screen. And it's the first time I've had to edit a live because he asked me if I could go and take the chats out.
Why is our guest crying? What's the problem?
I didn't know. I mean, I was like the last one to know. Steph's in the other room and she's trying to text me, asshole, quit going to the chat.
This isn't work.
Yeah.
Did just think we were doing the Sad News Bears live.
Oh my God. Yeah, it would be crickets for 2 hours. Nobody would want to say boo.
Shut up, Dave. Shut up, Dave.
But the good thing with those Sad News Bears episodes when we did them was there was rarely any editing that went into them, because like I would record them on my end and then put them up on ad free, and there was rarely any times where I was just like, oh no, that's gonna get this guy in deep water. But for the most part, our stupidity was passable for ad free shows.
It was fun.
You all should do. I was gonna say you need a reunion show.
We
Like
need
a
a
one-off.
reunion
Everybody
show.
thinks it's a great idea. Nobody will do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hesitation would be for all of us to get back together for a special Bad News Bears. Sad News Bears. Okay. I don't know what it would take to bring us all, maybe a Christmas special or something like that.
Ooh,
But
yeah.
I know I'm down for it. I'd do it if we could.
I'd do it in a heartbeat. But that's just.
I mean,
But the
it
fun
could have.
part is that we were hanging out with our friends. We talk to each other every day.
Mhm.
Right.
In the greatest group chat ever created. We talk to our friends every day, but that once a week getting on it's Zoom. We got on Zoom and just actually getting to see and talk and bust balls live I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Oh
it
my
so
gosh.
much.
Our little show and tells and it was a fun show to do.
I feel like that should be a star cast, like, something for a star cast.
Can you imagine?
A
Oh my
session. I think that could be fun. I like the idea of Christmas at the Conradison. That doesn't exist anymore, but that could have been nice.
Remember that Christmas party at the Conradison? Was that the party
No.
that
He
I didn't,
does.
get, I didn't get to go to the Christmas party.
you didn't go to the Christmas party?
No, he said he doesn't remember the.
No,
Christmas
I didn't go to the
party.
Christmas
I'm
party.
just kidding.
I didn't go to the Christmas party. I went to the 80s party.
Yeah, the 80s party. I missed the 80s party. I was out of town.
Yeah, I went to 80s party. I went. We had some get-togethers we had more than one get-together there, but I didn't get to go to the Christmas party. I didn't get to go to the Halloween party.
Oh, the one at the boot when we all dressed up, or yeah, that one was a blast too. That was fun. That was when Cassie and I went as the Crock Pot Express.
Yeah.
I miss all those
Cassio,
times.
you and Cassio get together. It's always gold.
Oh my God, we have so much fun.
Dancing at Conrad's wedding.
That was my terrible attempt at flossing.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, we missed it. Do you
The
miss
LA
that?
Guns.
I know you said, Dave, you've moved back
Yeah.
to San Antonio area. Like, do you miss being in Huntsville and being close and being able to do some of that stuff?
I do. I miss the ability to, hey, we're over at the boot. Come on.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
hey, we're playing Madden. We're doing a Madden tournament. Let's go. And like I miss all that stuff. I really, really do. And I'm hoping that I get to head back for Top Guy Rumble.
Yay.
I would love to
I
go.
hope you do too.
Yeah. Heather and I were just talking about it this week. Because Megan's like, hey, are you coming to Huntsville anytime soon? Is Dave coming or anything for work or whatever? And I was like, really, the only time that I really had planned was I was hoping to go to Top Guy Rumble. So we could both end up back in our old stomping grounds.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be there for that. I'm gonna do the refereeing again this year like I did last year.
Oh, I love it.
I will be there too. I will get to go.
And I'll be healthy enough that I can get in the ring with Dr. Tom and roll around a little bit.
Oh boy.
I didn't get to do it last year. I was so heartbroken.
Dr. Tom.
My brother-in-law was a wrestler. And when he heard about Top Guy Rumble and he heard that Dr. Tom was going to be there, he hadn't seen Dr. Tom in years because he worked with Dr. Tom in NXT.
Who is your brother-in-law? Wait, go back. Who's your brother-in-law? Can you tell us?
Yeah, because
okay.
he's retired. He hasn't wrestled in years. But my brother-in-law was a luchador named Psychedelic. He was Psychedelico Jr. His father was Psicodelico, who was brothers, one of the two brothers to Mil Máscaras and
Okay.
Dos Caras. So and of course Alberto Del Rio is his cousin, and it was a lineage of wrestling wrestlers in his family. So he grew up in wrestling and toured Japan and got to tag with Dusty Rhodes in Japan and do all this
Awesome.
wonderful stuff for his career. But he's been retired for years and he stepped away from it. But when he heard Dr. Tom was going to be at Top Guy Rumble, he was like, I want to go. I haven't seen Tom in forever, and I would love to just see him and hang out with him and all that kind of stuff. So I might bring my brother-in-law too to come and enjoy Top Guy weekend. So we'll see.
Awesome.
You know, it's always fun for me when a wrestler that hadn't seen a wrestler in a long time sees them. Years ago, I was friends with Sweet Brown Sugar, Skip Young, and I took Skip to PCW with me one night, and he was just, he hadn't gone to the matches in years, and I took him with me, and there was a guy that we called Colossus, and he saw him and they started talking trash to each other, and I thought they were going to fight. Now Colossus is 7'3", legit, and Skip was probably 6 foot and old and frail. And they started hugging and laughing, and Colossus was sent to pick them up from the airport when they traveled from Dallas to Amarillo.
Oh, wow.
And they hadn't seen each other in years. And to see those guys genuinely excited to see each other after all those years.
Isn't that wild?
I loved it.
It's a brotherhood. It truly is.
It is.
Just being on the outside looking in and watching the guys see each other and interact with each other that haven't been together in even months. It's a brotherhood. It's wild. It's fun to watch.
We're really blessed to have been put in a position to see some things that as kids, I'm sure that we never would have imagined that would have got to see.
Not in a million years.
I was going to say, not to be to do a selfish plug on the ladies' night at the matches.
Mm-hmm.
We just recently had an interview with Baby Doll, and she was also talking about how the conventions are not just like they love seeing the fans, but they love seeing each other. Like you said, she talked about how she hadn't seen I think it was a wrestler, might have been Starcast. Oh no, I think it was Ric Flair's last match. She got to see Tony Schiavone and hadn't seen him for like 20 years. And so,
Wow.
That is just one of those things, like you were saying, watching them see each other and talk and reminisce. It's really fun as a fan because, who do we think, like you said, 8-year-old me, 8-year-old Dave, 8-year-old Squad Water, like, sit there thinking, oh my God, I'm in the same room as these people. Or they actually know my name.
Yeah, they know my name.
They know my name. It is.
It's
way more
incredible.
jealous than mine, but it just.
You walk in a green room and there's people there that you would have that you didn't even know were going to be there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just, and then you got to be cool.
Well, yeah, dude, at Ric Flair's last match backstage, and you're seeing all these people that weren't supposed to be there. But
what are you going to say?
Yeah, what are you going to say when Taker is right there, like walking through, or Mick?
Dude, I walked into Gorilla. I just walked into Gorilla. And of course, I've already got used to that Road Dogg was back there and Scott Armstrong was back there and Dr. Tom was back there. So I come back and there's Michael Hayes. And I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Because Nabes.
Yeah.
And I got to be cool. But I shook his hand because that's wrestling etiquette.
Yeah.
But then after I'm still knocked my dick in the dirt from seeing Michael Hayes, I look over and there's the Undertaker and his wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's my life right now?
What's happening? Is this
what am I doing? So but I'm not going to stick around and linger, and I got my referee uniform on, so it's cool.
Yeah.
And then I walk over and there's Shane Helms and I know Shane and I'm like,
What are we doing here?
What's going on here, man?
Well, and you had to kind of smack yourself around because you were going to have to go out and do the big. I mean, you had a very important mission in that
My
last
God.
match. You had to count the three.
I was kayfabe Jones. I wouldn't tell nobody.
So
All
you
those
had to
referees,
just-
those referees had no clue it was me until it was really close to the match. And then I wouldn't tell anybody.
I love
wouldn't.
it.
There wasn't going to be no during the day. That day, I saw Silva, I saw Cassio, I saw Dawkins, and they all knew. And I wouldn't say anything, nothing. And
Are you
Cassio
excited
knew
about
I
tonight?
knew. Cassio
Yeah.
goes, "You all right, man?" I said, "Yeah, I'm all right. You all right?" "I bet you're all right." I said, "Yeah, I'm doing good." I would not
Not a
acknowledge
word.
anything. But oh,
I would your run, your high speed run, and the perfect slide that
Mhm.
blows my mind every time I see it, because it's like, of course, everybody always thinks of Titus O'Neil,
yeah.
and the slide that went bad, and it's just like it was so perfect. It was like
Mhm.
I would probably trip over myself and fall on my face running to the ring, but then doing the jump and making it perfectly and sliding, and then it was just gold. It was great.
Y'all
Couldn't
think
have
I'm
planned it better.
kidding?
It
When I
was.
came down that ramp, it was be Charles, not Titus. Be Charles, not Titus. Be Charles, not Titus. It was first and foremost on my mind. And because I didn't want to do anything to let Conrad down for putting me in that position.
My God. Charles
Uh,
in Rick's retirement match for WWE, Charles made a run in too, right? Did he make the run in to make the 3 count on that one? Or was he
Charles was the referee in charge that night.
Yeah, but there wasn't a run. I keep on thinking of in my mind, I see Charles running to the ring, but I can't remember for what match.
I don't remember what match that was, but it wasn't Rick because Charles was in the ring. Because every time I watch that match now, it gets me, man. When Charles holds the ropes for Rick, man, it gets. I'd start tearing up telling you that.
Yeah, that's like one of my all-time favorites.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go to the chat.
Okay.
That Brandon, my buddy Brandon Perkins, Go Stars. Question for Silva: next time Super Dave is in Dallas, can we get Silva up here to ponchos and Conrad foot the bill? If Conrad's footing the bill, we're going someplace better than ponchos. Now, I love to raise the flag. I'll go for the sopapillas if nothing else.
You got to go for the sopapillas.
Yeah, but we'll eat a lot better if we do that. You like hockey, Dave?
You know what? I've been to, I want to say maybe 5 hockey games, and I enjoy it. You know, it's a fun time. I love live sports, so I'm down for anything. And yeah, like it's not my I can't wait because the hockey game's on or anything like that. I'm not to that point, but I enjoy it. I like watching it, but I don't have a favorite team or anything like that.
Yeah. Dude, I wasn't going to do this.
What?
Let's set the record straight. We'll throw Cassio under the bus.
Okay.
The question we all want to know that only Dave and Amy get the real answers out of Silva is, Silva, why did you shit on Conrad's floor?
Accidents happen, my friend.
I thought we determined that was Cassio.
No, well, here's the deal. This is my stance on the whole thing. Okay,
Coach Rosie asked too.
So in the world of being Conrad's pal, Conrad's like carte blanche. If y'all ever need anything, if y'all want anything, just let me know. I'm good. So that weekend, Conrad and Megan were out of town, and it was a beautiful Saturday, and the kids wanted to go swim at the pool. So I'm like, hey, dude, can I take the kids to the pool and hang out for the afternoon at the pool? Go for it. You know the code. Blah 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 blah. So we went, and when we got there was pizza boxes and there was all this stuff. Well, because Cassie was there the night before enjoying the pool. So and he was planning to come back. He was going to come back Sunday and clean it all up before they showed up home. So there was already a mess there. So then we enjoyed the pool. My son did use the bathroom, but he swears it wasn't him. We leave, get everything back to where it was. Because like Conrad, when you go and hang out and Conrad's not there, they have towels available for you and they have drinks available. Like anything you want, it's carte blanche. So we left everything perfect when we left, and then all of a sudden, Megan's like, "Hey, did you shit on the floor?" I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then it just snowballed into the who done it, and it wasn't Cassio. Cassio said it wasn't me. I swore and I held my kids under a hot heat lamp. Was it you? Was it you? Did you ruin the family name? Are we those filthy Mexicans that poop on floors now? No, Daddy, no, Daddy, no.
Oh man.
So I'm as pure and as innocent as a driven snow, and it was that filthy Casio.
All right.
That is a long time known floor pooper.
Do you know when you do something that it's going to be a bit?
Oh yeah. Like there's without a doubt that like conversations and stuff, especially when I was working in Huntsville and we were in the office every day.
Yeah.
And you'd go into Conrad's office and it was always a bit when you walked into Conrad's office. It always turned into something. Either we're busting somebody's balls about something or you're getting your balls busted, or it was always fun. But you knew it was going to make it to the show. So you kind of had to watch your P's and Q's that do I really want to have this go into a show and make it into fodder for the world to talk about. So
yeah, I know. Because I know I do it too. And sometimes he gets me in commercials, so I don't hear it on ad free until somebody texts me and tells me.
Oh yeah.
Because if it happens in a commercial, it's cut, and I don't hear it on ad free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He works us all into the commercials. I'm like with Mando and with Magic Spoon and with every spot, Blue Chew, definitely Blue Chew. Like he works us all in there somehow where it's just random. Oh, Pondwater Dave's a long time Blue Chew user. You should see. Like he'll work it into the
because I'm old, so why not?
Yeah, and the guys, it's hilarious because the guys are dying off camera because I can see them and they're really enjoying all the stuff that he's saying.
When you did the commercial for Jeff the other night, all of a sudden you popped up on the screen and you went. I was dying, man. I was on the couch watching, and I was rolling.
Well, it was a funny bit that we did for Tony.
Conrad sold it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, because you wouldn't normally see that with Jeff. And you could tell that Jeff knew that you've done that.
Oh yeah. We did that bit for Tony's show, and Tony loved it and had a blast. And then when Jeff called for it, we were surprised that Jeff would call for it. And I was just like, okay, here we go. Of course, with Tony's, there was
they don't use you on camera more though.
I think it's just because I tell them I'd rather be a behind the scenes guy.
Okay, because you're so entertaining.
Oh, well, thank you, buddy. But yeah, I would rather be a behind the scenes guy. So yeah, Bruce and Conrad wanted to use me a lot more than what they do.
Yeah.
And then it turned out that every week they wanted me to take my shirt off and dance around. I'm like, time out. That's a 1-2 time little treat. Yeah. But now every week when I'm getting calls from Bruce, okay, what song are you going to dance to? And what part of the clothes are you going to take off this? I'm like, hold up.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be backstage.
I thought Stephanie was going to vapor lock when I showed her that.
But well,
I'm not going to keep you any longer. I know that you got to get ready for JR.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, JR's coming up.
I can't thank you enough for coming on. I hope you'll come back again.
Anytime, my friend. Anytime. I love you guys.
I love you, and I can't wait to see you again. I hope you make it to Huntsville.
Oh, me too, man. I really want to get there.
It'd be great to see you, and hopefully we can all get together. Oh, wait a minute. K-Dog's asking a question.
Oh, yes.
How swole are Silva's from constantly doing rips, drinking from that rain barrel with a handle?
So dumb.
Oh, and Coach Rosie wanted to know that if the zombie apocalypse hit, which member of the Sad News Bears do you want to be paired up with?
Oh, it would. Oh, it would have. Come on now, it would have to be Conrad.
Okay,
I'd be on the yacht. No, I'm teasing you.
You make a good point because I told him it's probably going to be Jay-Z.
No.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, Jay-Z with the Bojangles hookup. Oh, but either it would be first choice has to be Conrad because Conrad would have already thought about this.
Yes,
would have already had like an underground world built and prepared, or it would be K-Dog.
Hey Matt, don't take everybody else 3 years to move into a lake house. There ain't no telling what's going on under there. He's probably got a legitimate bat cave.
Exactly. But you're a real close second because you have the ends on the chips.
Yeah,
we could survive on the chips. So I don't know, man. That's a hard question.
Got deer and fish.
Oh my god.
Alligator. You got some alligator if you ever wanted a change up, And not only chips, he does nuts. Don't you have the nuts and peanuts?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's done nuts. He does Wendy's.
Exactly.
Wendy's nuts are in your mouth.
David. No.
Thank you very much.
Pop, it's showtime. Oh, we better stop before I get canceled after 2 years. Dave, thank you. Tell Heather the kids, hey, and I'm excited to see how your son does playing golf too. I'm excited that he's playing a sport that he can go to college, make lots of money, and don't get hit in the head all the time.
I'm thrilled that he chose golf. I'm just thrilled that he chose golf. And my daughter is in her first high school play. She got cast in Percy Jackson, so she's all excited about that. So yeah, they both have their own little worlds. They're rocking and rolling in high school. They're really enjoying it. So yeah,
I was a drama kid.
I was a drama kid too. I was a football kid, drama kid, a band kid. I got
the hots for some of the girls in the drama club, so I joined, and then I turned out I was pretty good at it. The acting. I've been married 4 times. I'm not real good at the girls.
Well, for 4 times you were good at the acting.
Yeah.
That kind of turned into
acting like I was interested.
See, I underhand pitched that one to you and you knocked it out.
You got me. All right, buddy. I love you. Thank you so much.
Love you guys. Congratulations on 2 years.
Thank you, Dave.
The lovely and talented Dave Silva, everybody.
Yay!
The ugly Dave was in the waiting room and he left.
The ugly Dave?
Yeah, in the HSV.
Oh.
He was going to do a run-in.
Oh. Maybe he had something. Whoa, something going on.
How about that?
That's better. That is better. That's so great. I hope he does come. That will be fun.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Top Guy Rumble is going to be fun anyway, but that will just be a nice little cherry on the top if Silva gets to come.
Yeah. You want to hear a crazy story?
Of course I do.
Well, I'm ready for this one. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Bulletproof. One water team is bulletproof. Bulletproof. One water team is bulletproof.
Ooh, I like it.
Got a new segment on the 2nd anniversary. It's called Bulletproof.
Mm-hmm.
Bulletproof, it means basically sometimes you can fall face down in a turd and come up smelling like a rose. Today at Family Dollar, it's always Family Dollar where these things happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you a disgusting story. I'm going to overshare a bit.
Okay.
I had surgery to fix my acid reflux. It's called a Nissen Philiptroplication. I can't say it.
Mm-hmm.
I only know that I saw that they had it on the chalkboard on Scrubs one time. I had that because now acid cannot come up and get in my throat.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, I can't burp. I
Really?
can't throw up. The air's got to go somewhere.
Okay.
So I toot a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you all that. It's more like a pop-off valve. You don't hear it much, and it doesn't. You can't tell. It doesn't stink. I tell you all that to tell you that today I was stocking the bottom shelf. I bent down, and I ripped ass. And I not only welcome to the show, Dave and the HSV. Hey, Dave, what's going on?
Hey,
I
Dave.
can't hear shit.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm going to finish my story. So I squat down and I ripped ass in Family Dollar. And uncommon for me, it was bad. Like I should seek medical attention.
You should check your pants, kind of
Man,
thing.
I was worried.
Mm.
And I'm like, and I'm squatted. Like, you know.
How many people were around you? Like,
Well, here's the thing is when I did it, there really wasn't anybody around.
oh, good. Okay.
But this woman came off the aisle and there was no hiding the smell. And I'm bent down and I go, ugh, and I can't throw up, but I can go through the motions. And I mean, I've offended myself, y'all. I'm going, ugh, ugh. And the woman that's walking by, she looks at me, she goes, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to. And then she kept walking and went around the corner. And then when she did, man, the tears. I mean, I was already teared up because I'm gagging. But I don't know if she legitimately crop dusted me.
She figured it was already there, so why not add more to it? I guess
It was me. It was me. It was all
Right.
me.
right.
I'm telling you, it was me. And I gagged myself. But I'm sorry, baby.
And she took the blame,
She took the blame.
which she must have.
Bulletproof.
No kidding.
That's
How-
bulletproof.
That is.
I was
what are the
so-
odds?
I
Two
was so
people
embarrassed.
farting at the same time in the aisle. You must have
But-
been a few seconds ahead because she
But
just.
I was about to yak and she was.
She's
and I'm like,
oh,
I'm so bulletproof.
oh Lord.
I just got away with it. So
You did. You did.
yeah. At Family Dollar. That's where everything happens to me is at Family Dollar.
Is that where the wheelchair person?
Yeah,
kept
that's where the guy
bumping
ran
you?
over me with the wheelchair.
That's a great story. Have you?
It's where the woman called me a peasant.
The wheelchair story at Dollar Tree or whatever it is? That was great.
Yeah.
Oh, my
You know, I
God.
tell that story and now I think back on it. Hey, Ben Jones.
Hey Ben, thanks for joining us.
Let's
In
shout out everybody in the
Australia.
chat while we're at it.
Yes.
Let's shout out everybody in the chat while we're at it. Ben Jones, Tim Robinson's here, Willie Buck's here, Brandon Perks, Coach Keith Morrison, K-Dog, Mark Cyrus. What's going on, Moose? Of course, the great JD Hoop.
I saw Blake Chance.
Blake Chance
Somewhere.
popped in. Allison Faye was here.
Yeah.
Coach Rosie, of course.
Yeah. Tim. Did you say Tim
I didn't
Robinson?
say Tim. Catherine Summers is here. We're having a great time
Antonio. Yeah.
on our second birthday. And while we're at it,
Yeah, now we have Dad with us.
yeah, and we're going to talk about. I got a little something.
I had to put y'all on my phone. I don't know what's going on with my speakers. I couldn't hear anything on my computer.
Oh God.
Belt Pope in the house, y'all. WWE had breaking news this week. They've introduced the Women's United States Championship. I think this is long overdue.
They
I
should
think
have
the
done
women's-
Intercontinental first.
I think the women's division is built up. I think there's enough people in there that having a secondary title, and I'm hoping that we're going to follow suit with the women's intercontinental title.
Definitely.
I think that it's going to help the storylines. I don't hate it. I've heard some chatter online. About the there's too many belts. But this makes sense.
Are they going to make it like a Raw SmackDown thing where it stays on? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it dedicated to Raw, or is it? Have they even said anything? I didn't know.
I read that as of right now, it's going to be on both brands, or that
cool.
people in the tournament would be on both brands. That's all they said.
Okay.
And I mean, if they decide to go with a women's intercontinental championship, then I would imagine they'll split them.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Robinson's got a hot take. I hate the white straps or women's championships. And for the women's IC title, can we get a 2002 design?
We need something better than the belts they have now, because all the belts in WWE suck.
You don't like the United States Championship?
Nope.
I've got the replica. I think it's one of my favorites. It might be my favorite version.
The best belt in WWE is the NXT North American title. Everything else is garbage.
Dang, that's a hot take. I like the Intercontinental title now that they've added the blue paint to it. I think that put lipstick on. I mean, it's not a great design.
They need to go back to the Attitude Era belt.
But I do like the I think the United States Championship is their best one right now.
It needs some blue in it. If it had blue behind the stars, it would look a lot better.
I've seen them mounted that way. You are absolutely correct on that.
But it just looks too gaudy to me. I don't know, something about it. I miss the old WCW belts. Those look good. These
they did.
Stupid.
Yeah, they did. And you're correct about the North American title. Brandon Perkins agrees with you too. But I saw this. I want to speak this into existence. This belt needs to be around the waist of Chelsea Green.
Yes, that's who needs to win it.
Chelsea Green, 100%.
Have they named the tournament participants?
No.
No. Okay, I didn't know.
Unveiled it, and
they just unveiled it. And
if they did go to the, maybe they're going to see how it plays out, and maybe there'll be a need for the Intercontinental title. But I personally be okay if they if they combine the Intercontinental and the United States and had that as traveling both shows also.
That's how they should do all belts.
But this is I like the belt. I like it on white leather too. But I do agree that the star pattern would be better if it had some paint behind it. Yeah, you're correct on that. And if they wanted paint behind the stars, they could get it if they went to Big Time Belts. Big Time Belts, Facebook.com. Join Big Time Belts. If you've got an idea for a belt, Muhammad Zubair can make it happen. He can give you high quality at low prices. The Queen of the Summit, SWA champion, is duty bopping her ass around the ring with a Big Time belt. The AMW Tag Team Wrestling Champions.
I thought that said Amy. I thought that was the Amy belt.
But if Amy liked this belt so well that she wanted one.
Yeah.
I mean, like if she wanted it to say, Amy, see you next Tuesday.
Oh, God.
See you next Tuesday, champion. If she wanted to strut ass around her house, Big Time Belts could hook her up and make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this tag belt. It's I love the design. I love the craftsmanship. I love the red leather. I love look at that, the detail on that U.S. flag. Tim Robinson ran a promotion 15, 16 years ago, rented belts from me. So he had decent belts for the shows that he put on. But all these years later, thanks to Big Time Belts, he is making his belt dreams come true. He is recently we unveiled the women's championship last week with that nice tribute to Jackie, Claudia. he's even ordered him a modified winged eagle now. I mean, so the belt bug has bit Tim. Tim understands what I've tried to tell everybody all along. I've got 75 belts. Your wife may not like it, but she will get over it.
I need to get me a big eagle. That's the greatest belt of all time. I'm gonna order a big eagle.
If you were playing fantasy football any better,
That's not very nice.
one.
My team has fallen apart. I've lost like 5 straight.
Yeah, but my wife's in first place.
Well, I'll make it to the playoffs and beat her. Don't worry.
Yeah,
was
probably
gonna
what's going to
say.
happen. But
Stephanie, get to even hold that. I notice it's always in your room. You are always the one showing it off.
Stephanie's
Stephanie-
superstitious. She doesn't want to hold it before she actually wins it.
Okay, I could understand
But
that.
this belt was crafted by Muhammad Zubair, Big Time
Mhm,
Belts,
mhm.
sponsoring the Ram Networks Fantasy Football League.
I
You
like
see
it.
the Big Time Belt logo on there, the TNA Top 10, the FFP,
It's
and
very
the Talking
nice.
Wrestling. We're
big time.
Yeah.
Big
Hi,
time fat.
Tim.
This is what you should have for your fantasy football league, and Big Time Belts can make it happen for you.
Definitely.
Facebook.com.
I'm gonna have one just to wear around the house. It's gonna
If
say
you can
Big
dream
Big
it, he
Dave.
can make it. I know of a secret project this week that I was in on. I've seen the designs, I've seen the concept, and he's going to work on it, and it's going to be a very, very incredible belt. I can't wait to see it finished. It's going to blow everybody away. And
Oh,
he also recently made a belt for AEW. He made the Ring of Honor Women's Championship with the spinner that was gifted to Athena
yes.
for being the forever women's champion of Ring of Honor.
Nice.
Muhammad's a solid dude.
Definitely.
If JD Hoop tells you that there's cheese on the moon, go get some crackers. That guy knows what he's talking about.
Definitely.
And we want to thank Big Time Belts for not only sponsoring this podcast, but sponsoring the fantasy football for the Ram Network.
Now, are they paying for the shipping to Kentucky, or
I had to pay for the shipping from Pakistan.
I guess I'll pay for my own shipping then. Whatever.
Y'all might have to,
I can always bring it to you, Tim, when I go to Top Guy Rumble in
There you go.
Huntsville.
Tim
I
ain't
can
winning.
grab it.
Tim ain't winning.
I'll bring it back to you.
Tim,
Tim's
are you
on-
coming to Top Guy Rumble?
I don't know.
You and Sarah better come down.
Maybe.
I've got to start finding a place to stay.
Stay at
I know a
Dave's. He's
place.
got 47 bedrooms in his palace. I got
Have a
lost.
6-bedroom house, Dave.
Just
Oh,
don't ever
Well-
trust the hand soap. It's probably lotion.
well, I didn't count on getting a bedroom. I was just looking for a couch, but I'll take it.
He's got 3 of those too. in his
No
living room.
kid really ever was fixed to start looking for a place.
Are you bringing Stephanie?
She's not coming.
You
She got,
better.
she got basketball.
You're out
Stay
there.
here. You just stay here.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
As long as Jandy says it's okay. She told me don't be inviting the whole world to stay at our house for Top Guy Rumble.
Just half of them.
Well, I'm small. I'm small. I don't take up a lot of room.
Could stay in Dave's nice new truck.
Yeah, it is nice.
Wouldn't be the
Congratulations.
I don't
first
even
time I
like
slept
driving
in a
that
Ford truck.
I think I'm gonna sell it.
Really?
You've had it a day.
It's too damn nice. I don't even want to drive it.
Oh, I got.
understand that.
It's like
I know the
riding in a
feeling.
cloud.
I know the feeling. Yesterday on my way home, a truck threw a rock up, and I got a little place on my windshield.
No. Ew.
I would have got out and fought the truck.
I took a picture of him. I took a picture of it because he didn't have mud flaps on the back of it.
El
Oh.
Bastardo.
I hate that, Catherine. Catherine can't get the time off.
Oh
Darn.
man,
Maybe, fingers crossed, something might change from now until February
you know what?
or January 31st.
It's been a staple of this podcast since we started, and I think
Hey,
now
I
would
want to
be a
meet
good-
somebody
Is it the birthday girl?
and the birthday present.
Oh, look at there.
Happy
Oh, hi, Barnett.
birthday.
Happy birthday! Love your dog.
Thank you.
Mine are on punishment right now.
Why? What did they eat?
The couch,
Oh,
The whole couch.
the arm off the couch. I'm
I've-
gonna have to hear it when she gets home.
oh, she hasn't seen it yet.
Oh no, they're in the kennel.
Ooh.
I can't
Oh,
believe they're
where
not
is
barking.
Ooh.
Where is she?
They-
She's a
Basketball.
basketball practice.
Basketball. Don't you
Oh.
listen?
You should kill the dogs.
There's two of them,
Dave's
They're
living
two-
a real life version of Turner and Hooch. At his
and I'm at
house.
the stage of my life that I love them, and I don't want to get
They
rid of them.
are adorable.
And I'm thinking,
little hot
but
dogs.
what if I get rid of one of them, and then
Oh, you can't.
and
do
then,
that.
then if it don't work out, I get rid of the other one, and I don't want to get rid of either of them because I love them
Why don't you make them outside dogs?
because they're wiener dogs, man.
So
Yeah, they're little weird.
There's things that go through my backyard
Close
that are
that door.
bigger than them.
build a fence,
Maybe put them in
build a
the
wall.
crate.
I
Put
can't
it-
even get another couch yet. I'm sleeping on I'm sleeping on Dave and the HSV's couch.
I have beds, but
Yeah, I may have to come live with you.
I'll let you stay. I'll let you stay in the office. You can stay on the Florida State futon.
That is the most uncomfortable futon ever. Just ask TJ Stephan.
No, it's not. That futon's awesome. It's got a real mattress on it.
At my
Yeah,
age, when
real
I
mad.
decide to go to sleep, it don't matter. Y'all saw me every night on the weekend.
That's very true.
Y'all saw me.
He sleeps in folding chairs sometimes.
Well, I have a new bed in the man cave too, since Tim was here. It's a pull out, so it's a couch. It's an L shaped,
Mhm.
but a bed
sectional.
pulls out.
I'm a huge fan of pulling out.
No, I like to stay in.
Oh, Jesus. No.
I'm a stay in kind of guy. More comfortable, a lot less mess.
Look at this. We got 2 candles for our birthday.
I know, exactly. Would you like the sparkly ones, the Christmas ones that I have for y'all?
I'll tell you what I do want.
It's time for Amy's trivia. Think you have the facts? Let's play and see.
Exactly. Well, as we all know, November is Survivor Series month. And I, as a child, loved the Survivor Series. I loved it being on Thanksgiving. I loved everything about it. So we are going to talk about the second annual, since this is our anniversary, second anniversary, we're going to do the second. So the question is, the second annual Survivor Series pay-per-view took place on November 24th, 1988 at what venue?
Richfield.
Richfield Coliseum, the Rosemont Horizon, Hartford Civic Center, or Boston Gardens?
Richfield. I was there.
Same as the first one. You were not there.
Oh,
I was going to say, oh, great. So everything y'all said was correct. It was Richmond. It was the Richfield Coliseum. That was where it was held the first time, and then it was held there the second time. They
what was the
really
main
liked
event?
Which
the main
one?
event is going to. Well, hold on. We got more questions.
Oh,
That
okay.
might- that might come up.
Okay.
Were we doing teams of 5 thrive to stay alive or so, whatever he's saying?
Drive
Yes,
to
that's what
Survive.
we're
It's
doing.
the Survivor Series.
Survive.
I
Jesus.
I'm telling you, the scramble. I mean, after Thanksgiving, that was what we did. We watched Survivor Series.
Yeah,
See,
my
there was
grandma.
no
My
Survivor
grandmother
Series.
hated me for that.
Oh, look, Willie Buck got it right again.
Yay! Well,
My
my
favorite Survivor Series ever was '94.
why?
I've never been more excited for a WWF pay per view in my life.
How come? What was going on?
That is so
Undertaker
sad.
versus Yokozuna in the second casket match with Purple
Mm.
Undertaker.
I like it. Oh, I like that. Yeah. But did you all have? My uncle had that big satellite dish, like where they
Mhm.
used to have it, and
We had
Like
one
you
in the
said.
yard.
you did.
Nah, I
Yeah.
lived. Well, my grandmother lived in the city, so she had the little cable box. You hit the red button on.
As you could do that. Awesome. So, all right, next question. How many 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches were there at this event? Were there 2, 3, 4, or 5?
4.
Okay, Dave says 4. Timmy
3.
says
Three.
3. Dave, what you think?
I'm gonna go with 4 also.
It's 3 because there was a tag team match. It wasn't 5-on-5. It was 10-on-10.
That is very true. You can tell Timmy and I are close to the same age because that is very true.
Well, but it was 5, or it was 5
It was
teams.
10 on
5
10.
on 5.
It was 10 on 10 is what they called it. So yeah,
It
it
was
was
a
a
mess,
grief.
is what it was.
tags match. Yes, it was.
game's
Could you
bullshit.
imagine?
Brandon Perkins got it right.
So okay, next question. Who was the sole survivor from the first 5-on-5 match at this event? Was it Blue Blazer, Sam Houston, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, or the Ultimate Warrior?
The Ultimate Warrior.
I can't imagine that it wasn't the Ultimate Warrior.
I think it might have been
Been
Brutus. I think it might have been Brutus.
You should always go with your first instinct. It was
Ultimate
the
Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior.
There you go.
Told
Look
you.
at that.
Was the sole survivor of that first match.
He had it wrote in his contract.
Sam Houston. Amy just put Sam Houston in there so she could low key wedge her way in that she just interviewed Baby Doll with Megan Nelson on ad-free shows on Ladies Night Out at the matches.
I
Sam
will
Houston was
say,
in the back getting drunk.
but he was in that match. I
was
will say
getting
that.
high.
I didn't make that. I did not make his name up.
Oh,
He
I
was
remember
in
Sam
that match.
Houston. Sam Houston in WWF because they had him doing that.
Stupid
He had his
dance all
cowboy
the
hat
time.
on and he was doing that ridiculous ass dance like he was
Yeah.
John Travolta in Urban.
All
Cowboy.
87
Exactly.
pounds of him.
I will say thank you though, but if you do get a chance, you can go over to ad-free shows and listen to that Ladies Night at the Matches that Megan and I did with Baby Doll. It's a very good interview, if I may say so myself.
It was tremendous. And now all bullshit
Thank
aside,
you.
I was just giving you a hard time.
I know.
But I mean, we were going to talk about it anyway, but we're going to talk about it now. I thought y'all did a great job. I think y'all did a great job with Missy, but y'all's chemistry was so good for the second episode. You could tell that from the first episode to the second episode, y'all were really gelling. The thing I like about what y'all are doing with the Ladies Night at the Matches is that now you've talked to Missy Hyatt and you've talked to Baby Doll and you've talked to them about things that normally most people don't talk to them about. So we're not getting the same old cookie cutter interviews out of them. And
I'm ready for the Sunny interview live from prison.
Well, don't put it past us. No.
I'm sure one of them will end up in prison before it's over. So
I don't know if she can do things like that from prison, though.
You
You'd be
see Amy
amazed
and
what she
Megan with
could
the
do from
phones there and Sunny putting her hand on the glass.
I've seen enough crime stories. We could make that work. We really
Timmy
do
C.
enjoy.
Timmy C. had pitched an idea about doing like a behind the music type deal with conjugal visits with Sonny.
yeah.
Oh, gosh.
She pooted.
Hey, guess what? I did too.
Well, thank you for saying that. Not that part, but thank you for saying that you enjoy it. We really do. We ask her questions that we want to ask, and maybe people don't really think about it. I'm sure there are certain things that she has been asked over and over, both of them, Missy Hyatt and Baby Doll.
You talked
Baby
to her
Doll
like
was-
she was a person and not a wrestler.
Well, Megan and I have tried to say, like, we're going to pretend like we're just sitting, again, like at a Top Guy weekend, or we're just going to be pretending we're sitting there talking at the table with them and things that we want to ask. And I mean, Baby Doll was huge for me with the Horsemen and with Dusty. I'm old enough to where I was watching 86, live. And so just all of that, her being, and she said it, I kind of feel like sometimes, not all girls can be one of the boys. And she said that in her interview.
Yeah.
And sometimes, being a wrestling fan as a female, I kind of feel that. And so talking to her was like just talking to Megan or talking to Allison Faye or talking to Lindsay or Brandy or, one of those other unicorns that are out there. So we have got a lot of exciting interviews coming up. And so I really do I appreciate having ad-free shows letting us have this opportunity to do it. And it's been really fun. And I hope more to come. So I'm sorry.
But you came in over 10 minutes late today. And if you don't cut out this diva behavior, I'm going to have to talk with Evan.
I told you I was rebooting my computer.
Yeah.
The tag team, what tag team was the sole survivors for the 10-on-10 match at this event?
Powers of Pain. Mr.
It was
Fuji cheated, little bitch.
it was the options are Heart Foundation, Brain Busters, The Powers of Pain, or Demolition. And I will say Dave did get it right as he kind of told us what all happened, The Powers of Pain. That's a group that they just didn't do. Like, if you think about, look at the other ones have gone on and done great things, but the Powers of Pain really never, there was just something, I don't know what it was. They just never did reach.
Well, one of them
Maybe
couldn't
they're-
speak English and the other one couldn't speak. So
Well, but they had Mr. Fuji, so like, or not Mr.
yeah, because he was so good at
eventually.
English.
Well, but that's true. But he had,
My
he
powers
could,
are paid.
yeah, exactly. He could make his point, I guess, but I understand what you're saying. But I feel like they could have done more.
You would
And
think
then-
with the size of Barbarian and Warlord that Vince would have done something with them, especially
He
the
did.
Warlord.
Power and glory.
Well, and then to make them the sole survivors. I mean, looking at all the different people that were in that match, I mean, granted, it was probably all their tag teams because that's what, but, they were the sole survivors and it didn't really do as well, I guess.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
but those were the four choices that were in the match. I wouldn't have picked the Powers of Pain to win that. It was
exactly.
I mean, that might have been one of the first Swerve Bros.
But
Because-
at the time, Demolition had been on such a roll. They had been tag champs for over a year at that point. They had to
No,
build
not at
someone...
that point. They won it at WrestleMania.
But I mean, you look at the other ones.
Almost a year.
Then you had the Brainbusters,
Hmm.
who
They
are
were still new
arguably
then.
top three tag team of all time.
Definitely. Heart Foundation. I mean, I know that,
Bret Hart sucks.
Bret is not some people's favorite,
Yeah,
but
but
as a tag team at that time,
Yeah, they were.
they
good.
were very much.
They were good.
Yeah, he
huge.
wasn't a diva at that point. He didn't bitch
High
about
Energy was
everything.
better than the Hart Foundation.
Really?
Well, Owen was the better Heart, so
Do you think
That's
Coco was
true.
better
That-
than Jim
I
Neidhart?
think Coco was definitely better than Jim Neidhart. Dave might have a point. High Energy was better than the Heart Foundation.
The new foundation was better than the Hart Foundation.
You just never know what we're going to learn here. All right, next question. Question 5. Yes. The Mega Powers team consisted of Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Coco Beware, Hillbilly Jim, and who? Who was their fifth partner? Was it Jim Duggan, Hercules, Tito Santana, or the Red Rooster?
Tito Santana.
Why do I
Timmy,
want to say it
Jay?
was Hercules?
See, I want to say Hercules too.
I believe it was Hercules.
We got some C's. Brandon thinks it was C. Ben, all the way from Australia, thinks it's Hercules.
Watch, it's gonna be the fucking Red Rooster.
No, but it was Hercules. Hercules.
Hercules.
Good job, Dave.
Hercules.
Are you sure? I thought it was Tito.
Hey,
No,
Tito
I
was
saw
on
a
a
clip-
different.
I saw a clip of this not too long ago, and seeing Hercules with Hogan,
they had that long ass chain in the promo
Yeah.
that went around all of them.
and to see Hercules with them kind of surprised me.
Yes, I think he had just like been turned on, and so he had joined their team. Tito was in the match before.
Well,
The Red Rooster was on the other team that the Mega Powers fought because it was all like a Bobby Heenan team. But
Hercules'
yes,
best
it was
gimmick was the
Hercules.
Super Invader in WCW.
Hercules was also in World Class, managed by Sunshine.
Correct. He was also in Mid South. He was in
Was-
NWA wearing a mask. By the way, just to prove our point, Coco Beware here, main event. Where the hell was Jim Neidhart?
Yeah.
So would you say Hercules?
Coco Beware said some really out of pocket stuff to my sister one time at the Sportatorium,
Oh yes.
and I
Have
tried
y'all
to
heard
hit
this
it.
story? Have you
I'm
heard
not gonna
that
tell
story?
it.
No, it was very vulgar.
It was
What he said. What
Was he
said
being
to-
a heel or was
Yes.
he just
no,
like,
no, no. It was beyond.
But he
Like,
was
he-
a heel. I mean, he
Oh,
was a
yeah.
heel, but
If he was trying to piss me off, he did, because I've carried that shit around for years. And I tried to hit
he
him.
just
I tried to
mentioned
hit him.
it every time we
We
talk
were on my
about Coco
motorcycle that
Beware.
night, and I tried to hit him with my crash helmet.
He'd have whooped your ass.
It was just an ass whooping I was ready to take.
Sometimes you gotta
when we
take
quit
those.
recording, I'll tell you what he said to my sister.
Hey, when Hercules was being managed by Sunshine, what was his name? What did he go by Hercules? Well, like, did he keep that
Hercules
name or
Hernandez.
was he? Okay,
was-
I did not
His
know.
name
if
was
he-
Fred Hernandez.
It was Ray Hernandez, actually.
They were calling him Hercules Hernandez.
Were they? Okay, I
Yes.
didn't know.
He doesn't look very Hispanic though. He looks
And if
more
I'm
ginger.
telling, and y'all know I was paying attention to Sunshine.
He didn't even know Hercules was there.
I could walk into Sunshine, I wouldn't know who she was. I don't even know who the hell y'all talking about.
Oh, you don't know who Sunshine is?
Uh-uh.
Sunshine. Oh, she was a really great manager in
Oh, here we go.
WCCW.
Dave's gonna start pulling shit out.
I watched Rich Person Wrestling, WWF.
Rich person. Plus, I will say, out of all of this, Dave and the HSV is the youngest of us, so he probably doesn't know who Sunshine
No, I'm the
is.
youngest. Dave's older than me.
You're way older than me, stupid.
I was
You were
about to
born in
say, there's
19 I
I'm
was
not
born
even
the
in my
80s there,
40s.
fella.
you're not even in your 40s yet. Is that what you said?
I'm not in my 40s yet.
I mean,
Oh,
if you
Dave's
were going to
talking.
say I'm not in my 50s yet, that would be true, but you are definitely in your 40s.
Look at all the hair I have compared to the other two guys on here. Come on now.
Dave is going to stick that bird up Coco's ass and make him squawk.
I don't think he had the bird yet.
He didn't. He
And
got the bird. Oh, he got the bird. All right.
I bet he did. All right. Last question is a fill in the blank. You've all kind of been talking about it. What was the tagline for the 1988 Survivor Series?
Teams of 5 strive to survive.
Very
the
good.
WWF
His Pondwater said,
Survivor
"Stay alive."
Series.
Yeah.
It very good, Dave. It was teams of 5 strive to survive.
Hang on. Let's wait
loved
for
all
Billy.
that.
Let's wait for Willie Buck to type all that in.
Is he going to type it in?
I'm waiting.
Come on, Willie Buck.
In 4 years' times, we'll be watching it live on the Ram Network with Arrows Golden.
Exactly. And that'll be cool.
Not
Like I
actually in
said,
4 years.
No, I mean 4 years' time because we're in '84. So
Yes. But I know it's very archaic now with, the way wrestling is, but when I was in the 80s, I loved that Survivor Series. I loved them getting together, going against each other. At one time, it was the Soul Survivors. Brandon. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
But like,
I love it, man. We have the best. We have the best fans that watch this show.
we do. They are great. They're with us. They ask the questions and answer, our trivia. But at one time it was the Soul Survivors went on to have another match at the very end.
That was the worst idea ever. That was only one.
Why? Why did you think that? Why did you think that was terrible? I thought that was, again, as a 10-year-old,
I
I
thought
thought
the
it was
Survivor
wonderful.
Series has sucked
Awesome.
ass since its inception. I never liked the Survivor Series.
Oh
I liked it.
man.
But
I
you gotta
just
have
didn't like it
it
'cause
sucked. It sucked in recent years when they just threw teams together. They had to have a reason to have the match.
Right.
just
Don't start
or not
November.
just Raw
trying
versus
to-
SmackDown, whatever bullshit.
And when they started that, I was still heavy duty NWA. The Survivor Series when they call them the Big Four, the Survivor Series to me was always number 4. It never hit for me.
Mhm.
I do like that they're doing war games now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that they do war games for.
I will
Survivor
say when
Series.
it became the Big 5, Survivor Series was the bottom for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I always thought
I like
SummerSlam was the bottom until when Survivor Series went away from the Survivor Series match, then I was out. I'm like, okay.
well, they
now it's
started
just
pushing
same old
SummerSlam
shit.
to be the second WrestleMania of the year.
Right.
And now
right.
it
Still-
seems
it's still
and now
behind
it
the
seems
Rumble
like
for
they're
me.
doing Rumble. So Rumble's
Oh,
huge,
definitely.
WrestleMania huge, SummerSlam's huge, but Survivor Series still hasn't gotten there. Like you're not seeing Survivor Series in huge stadiums like you are Rumble, WrestleMania, and
Correct.
Definitely.
SummerSlam.
Well, because it always seems like they're trying to manufacture something with Survivor Series, even like with War Games, like all of a sudden, which granted the bloodline actually falls very well into this, but usually it's like all of a sudden November, like you said, Raw people hate SmackDown, like we're going to have some kind of competition. And that kind of, that doesn't, I don't know. It's saying, "Oh, okay, it's November, so we have to fight against each other."
Well, the best
You know.
Survivor Series they've had in recent years was the one that happened by accident. And that's when the wrestlers got stuck in Saudi Arabia. So NXT had to come invade SmackDown. And then
Mhm.
that was the week before Survivor Series. So then they made like Survivor Series include NXT as well. And they went on to win, more of the matches than anybody else. But that was the best Survivor Series in Vince's tenure.
See, I think they should have just sold Survivor Series to the Saudis instead of having to make another one. Just sell that one. It doesn't draw anyway. So just
name it Saudi Series.
Saudi Series, yeah.
Saudi series.
Survive.
Plain wrestlers strive to get out of the country.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Bless their little hearts. No.
Let's talk about the Ram Network, y'all.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Ram Network over at patreon.com/Ram Network for just $5 a month. $5 a month for all the bonus content that we're kicking out for you. You just heard Dave mention Eras, the next generation, the new generation.
Era's golden.
Era's
Well,
golden.
we have two. We have
Era's the new
Golden
generation
and
now
Era's
has a
the
new
generation.
co-host with me.
Oh, cool.
Drum roll, please. Megan Nelson is joining us on the Ram Network for the new generation.
Awesome.
So I'm
Jeez.
hoping that next Friday we can do Royal Rumble 93 watch along. So anybody that's around. This Friday we're not doing it because Mike Tyson's fighting. So next Friday we want to do the Royal Rumble
Jake
watch
Paul,
along.
just Mike Tyson. No.
Let's talk about Tyson. Let's talk about the Tyson fight real quick in the middle of this Ram Network promo. Who do we think is going to? I mean, first off, do we think that this is a legitimate fight, or we think it's work?
I think it's a work.
Tyson's taking a dive.
I don't know if Tyson's taking a dive, but I think Tyson's not going to kill him.
Maybe that's you're not going to kill me.
Did y'all hear what JBL said about Tyson? You'll know if he goes for the body first.
No.
No.
He said that if he's so powerful still, that if he comes out and he immediately starts going for his body because he wants Jake Paul to feel his power, that boxers want to assert their power, that he knows. He doesn't really think Tyson's going to. He said that he doesn't think Tyson's going to work the match. He thinks they're really going to fight. He thinks that Jake Paul has done very well with the promoting the wrestling side of the boxing, making people want to watch this. I tend to think Tyson's going to knock his head off.
I would like to see that, but I think it's going to be. I think there's a gentleman agreement, and although there is this has been sanctioned. It's in Dallas.
Heaven forbid a sanctioned fight be worked.
But it has been sanctioned, but I've heard that it's very loosely sanctioned. So, and I think there's probably some sort of gentleman agreement as, hey, let's get in there. You don't tag me for real. I don't tag you for real. We do it as best we can. Make it look like we really hate each other, and it's going to be a draw.
Oh, yeah. Could you, how many? So it's in
then
Dallas.
You got to hope that Jake Paul tags him for real. Tyson's getting mad and eats him alive.
See, I think that Tyson's got too much to lose working a boxing match.
I don't think he does because he's making so many millions every month selling his pot brand now.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that if he makes a mockery of boxing.
I mean, he's almost 60. I mean, what are we really expecting here?
I'm expecting him to kill him, but he looks great.
I think if he doesn't get him in the first round, he doesn't get him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, Tim. But Tyson's always done his best work
in the first 3 rounds. Tyson usually went 2 or 3, and that was about it.
But Paul's 27 years old. I think he can dance around and wear Tyson out, or at least avoid him that first round, and then Tyson kind of falls into his hands.
But I mean, we're having a big party at my house, and I would love for nothing more than to see that fight over in 40 seconds with Jake Paul dead on the floor.
Dead? Jesus.
Dang.
I mean, not really dead, but like looking like,
I mean, Jake Paul, you look at Logan and Jake Paul, both of them, I think it'll be a little bit more of a competition than maybe.
I want to see Tyson become that. I want to see Tyson become that monster. I think he could put an exclamation point on his career.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be 40 seconds. but I could be wrong.
The Tyson's fight from '89 would be just beautiful to watch.
I mean, Jake Paul has said some horrible things about Tyson's kid.
It's all work.
Yeah,
that part's all the work.
I get that, and I think it's genius, and I think that Muhammad Ali did it best, but I think
he didn't have the internet. Could you imagine if he did?
Oh,
Mama, I mean, like you said.
Well, if he had it now, the mouse would never stop moving.
Well, actually, if he had it now, the mouse would be not moving at all.
Oh,
good night, everybody.
Yeah, really. Thank you for our last podcast. No.
Then you got Timmy C and myself. We're doing world-class flashback.
You going live right after this, aren't you?
We are
not live.
Well, we're not going to go live. We're just taping an episode. I mean,
we were live last week,
but we're just
I popped in for a minute last week.
And we're going week by week through 1983, which, if you hadn't heard by now, is my favorite year of wrestling.
And if you don't know
the yellow tights too,
you're not listening.
We watched International Star Wars with the Ramheads last week. We went live. We watched it. Had a good time. Kevin Von Erich and Harley Race put on a banger. Jimmy Garvin, David Von Erich had a good match. Bruiser Brody not only tag teamed with Kerry Von Erich to defeat the Fabulous Freebirds for the American Tag Team Championships. Kamala was having his way with the guy, and
Vice President Harris.
And Bruiser Brody ran in and saved him, and it was the first time that we'd seen Kamala get knocked off his feet. That was my first time seeing Bruiser Brody in person. It was a hell of a big deal for me. And then we have Buddy Roberts and the Iceman King Parsons in a hair match that actually saw King Parsons lose the match. But Buddy Roberts ended up being the one that was coated with the hair cream.
Oh,
so now we're going to see the aftermath of that.
There's no way this is better than 1997.
It's way better.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
I know you all are on hiatus, and I really miss your all show, FFP. I love listening to what you all brought to the show, but you all are on hiatus, but you're going to be coming back soon, I hope, and something revamped. Is that kind of what you all are thinking, or?
Beginning of the year, we're looking at probably just a little rebranding. Little hard for people to find us, and while the way we described it was, while Popcast is clever, no one knows how to search it. So
I gotcha.
Looking at some rebranding.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to find. It really is.
So it's going to be
the Ram Network. The Ram Network's hard to find on YouTube as well. So we probably because we're not the only Ram Network. So.
All right, let's start suing people.
So anyway,
I know a gimmick attorney. We could probably get him on it.
That's true. We need to make sure ours was the first Ram.
No, we don't. To hell with that.
Yeah. We just got to make sure ours is trademarked first.
I got you. That's very true. And Mike would say that, right? No.
But TJ's been working afternoon shifts for the rest of the year, so trying to record and do Ram stuff as well was just going to be way too much.
Yes.
So we decided to take a hiatus. Timmy and I are trying to do Ram stuff. We actually missed last week. Was the first time we missed for our footballers all season. We didn't do.
Tell everybody what footballers is.
So footballers, Timmy and I love to gamble. So during football season, we bet on 10 games every single week that we're betting on.
Put our money where our mouth is.
We put our money where our mouth is.
Okay.
We bet on 10 games, and then so that the next episode we record, we go back and we run through what our bets were the previous week, what happened. We discuss the games. We laugh about people. We laugh at each other because we made a terrible bet, or we praise each other for doing so good.
Not this guy.
So I did not record the episode last week because Timmy wasn't available. I didn't get a chance to record it. However, in the last 2 weeks, have gone 17-3 in my picks, Timmy C.
Man, very good.
I haven't done yours. I need to look at what you sent me last week and grade everything out. But we even go dollar
7-3.
We even go dollar figure. Every game bet is $100 bet. and we're matching up. Timmy is destroying everybody right now, but it's a fun show. We like to bet. We like to talk about it.
Do you basically like bet on like who? Like I know there's a spread, but like
you can bet on anything.
You can bet on anything.
So a lot of bets I'll do
props.
I bet that this quarterback's going to throw for 250 yards.
Okay, so anything. So it
anything.
Just that's cool.
Plus wins. So it's something for anybody that's new to gambling or anybody that likes gambling. It's fun to listen to. I have a buddy that I work with that loves it.
And if you want to make money, it's a good place to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're actually pretty decent at what we do. Actually,
what are some like you can literally bet on anything in a game? Like you can bet on.
So let's do this.
Like
last week, I bet 3 different bets on one football game.
Okay, what were that? Can you tell us?
I bet Florida State was playing Notre Dame. Florida State is my favorite team. They suck ass this year.
They're horrible.
Notre Dame was favored to win that game by 26.5 points when the game started.
Gotcha.
Or when I bet on that game. I picked Notre Dame to win that game by more than 26.5 points.
Okay.
The total over-under for the game was 44.5. That means 44.5 points scored by both teams throughout the game.
Okay.
I bet that more points would be scored than 44.5 in that game.
And you were right?
And Florida State was the odds that Florida State was going to score 7.5 points in that game. And I took the under. Florida State scored 3. So I hit all 3 bets on that one football game.
Wow.
Poor favorite team.
Hey, it happens.
I know. Everybody has ebbs and flows, I mean, I know.
I'm so disgusted with the Dallas Cowboys right now. I watched the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Washington Redskins play the other day. And normally I couldn't stand either one of those teams, and I actually enjoyed the game. And I watched the Philadelphia Eagles, who I've hated since I was a small boy, because they used to throw snowballs with batteries in them.
They still
Coach
do.
Landry. Coach Landry, though. I mean, they did it to Coach Landry.
They threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
They actually had a jail. They actually had a jail in a JP court in their stadium.
Yep.
But I actually liked Philadelphia Eagles, and I watched them beat the crap out of the Cowboys and could not have cared less and could not wait to see Jerry Jones melt down.
I watched that game at my neighbor's house because he's from Philly and he's a big Eagles fan.
I mean, that's where I'm at in professional football, that I've Jerry Jones has made me not care.
I'm almost there with you. We've got about one more loss before our season's over.
Yeah, my team can't stop a nosebleed on defense, so
I think college football.
They're averaging 30 points a game and losing them all.
Hey,
fun.
College football seems to be more, like that really seems to be volatile. Like you just, I mean, you had Vanderbilt. Oh, Dave left. Vanderbilt beating Alabama. You just have all these wild games going on out there. It just seems like college football is where it's at.
NIL and the transfer portal has changed the game of college football.
Yes. What do you think about that, Timmy? Like, what do you think about the NIL and just having it in the transfer portal and how that all works?
Well, first off, I would rather have the university pay the players instead of outsourcing it. That's ridiculous. But I do enjoy that college football has a little more parity than it had before, because you don't just have Georgia and Alabama trucking everybody. So now, I mean, there may not be an undefeated team by the time you get to the end of the season. So I like that.
True. Interesting. Yeah, I definitely feel like when I listen to TNA Top 10, I don't know much about football. Like, I like listening to them. I do watch it, but it just seems like Georgia's down to number 11. It just seems like this has been a wild year. And so I like seeing how the NIL works. I do think they should be getting, schools are getting hundreds of millions of dollars. The kids should be getting something. But then on the flip side, you hear, they're transferring and they're doing, it's interesting. It's just kind of an interesting time, I guess.
And finally, we do Ringside Replay, which is CWA 1988.
Yes.
I do that with Dave that left. we do that. We're having a good time watching all kinds of crazy stuff from Memphis.
I love Memphis.
Everything from Memphis was crazy.
I mean,
I grew up on Memphis. I mean, really, that's what I grew up
so
on.
We're having a good time with that. Got an audience with the Belt Pope. My next episode is going to be on the Missouri Heavyweight Championship. Should be dropping. Hopefully, I'll get it dropped this week. But
that was kind of like the Intercontinental Championship to the NWA Championship, right? Like it was like the step. I mean,
it was a step. Yeah, that was the stepping stone to the NWA title.
Yes.
And then the Power of the Pen with Amy and TJ when they can get it done.
Again, I've also fallen in that section where TJ's working afternoon, so we don't get to do a whole lot.
Maybe we'll get Amy and Megan doing some stuff since she's going to be on board. Because the beautiful thing about Ram Network Wrestling and more is that if you just got an idea and you want to do something, you jump on, you push play, and you put it on there.
Heck yeah.
We're not limited, and we really enjoy doing it. And coming soon, Portland Wrestling.
That's going to be so good. I cannot wait.
Yep, coming soon.
We're going to have a lot of special guests for that. Dave, TJ, and I are kind of all going to handle that one.
Yes.
Lots of. I mean, we have tons of library. There's a book that we're reading for it. That kind of walks through the years. It's going to be really good, and we have film that no one else has.
Yeah,
I'd say, Tim, are you really reading it? I know you've kind of fought back on that.
I've ordered it. How about that?
You've ordered it. That's good. That's good.
It's not an audio
I'll tell you about it.
I'm kind of pissed about that.
I tell you what, if you don't have the grappler on for Portland Wrestling, like I think you've got to get him on. Hopefully he'll come on our show. He's got a great book out. He talks a lot about Portland wrestling because he was a booker at one time. Yes. And I mean, I think he would be a great interview. I just can't wait.
I've been blessed to get to work with him over the last 2 years quite a bit. And he's a really great guy. But I've also been blessed to work with you for the last 2 years, Amy. You and Justin Davis. And, he was going to have to eat that mayonnaise, so he quit.
Exactly. Pretty much.
But I'm still taking chops and drops and risking life and limb to satisfy these subscription bets that I've made or pledges or whatever.
Nobody wants to see me take any of that. They're like,
everybody does.
Want that. No,
everybody
they
does.
don't.
I can put out a poll.
Put a poll out. See, who would they rather see get smacked around, you or me? I guarantee
it'll be unanimous. I'm going to do that as soon as we get through tonight. But for 2 years, I've had a great time doing this. I want to thank RJ Krasinski. Because had he not pivoted with Ringside Rant, me and Justin wouldn't have had been out. We enjoyed podcasting together. I did Ringside Rant with him, trying to get some reps in because I wanted to do this. We added Amy to the mix. It's been perfect. She's my tag team partner. We're the intergender tag team podcast champions.
Exactly.
It's official. Look it up. I just said it on the internet, so it's got to be true.
Exactly.
But we're going to get out of here. So
under 2 hours.
So for Amy Vaughn, I'm Palm Water Dave. That's Timmy C. Thank y'all for jumping in. Thanking our guest, Dave Silva, who's been awesome behind the scenes, helping us with the technology to do our podcast.
Yes. Yes.
Until next week, we'll see you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.